الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. قال الله تعالى: وهذا كتاب أنزلناه مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب. وقال الله عز وجل: يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم برهان من ربكم وأنزلنا إليكم نورا مبينا. صدق الله العظيم. So brothers and sisters, the session that we have here on Saturday and the live session will be based upon Quran. It's time for us to reflect over Quran. It's time for us to have a bit of closeness to the Quran, where we can discuss Quran, speak about Quran. We know what a mercy the Quran is to us in our lives. It's something that Allah Azza wa Jalla has mentioned in the Quran. And before we read the Quran, there's an approach that we should have, knowing that the Quran is the greatest miracle. It's a miracle that we have with us that's the greatest of all miracles. I want you to reflect over that for a moment, because when you think of the miracles, there are things that are amazing. And it's so the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through the permission of Allah, do these miracles happen. When, how, throughout history, we read, we see, and perhaps we have experienced some miracles within our lives, or it doesn't make sense to us. It's a blessing, and like I mentioned, it happened just with the permission of Allah. During the time of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, at a time where magic and illusions were rife, and at that moment, the blessing, the miracle that Musa alayhi salatu wasalam received was of that nature. But it was only for a moment, when the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, Isa alayhi salatu wasalam and many of the prophets that had been given these gifts or these miracles. Even the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we read about the miracles of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he would make dua for barakah, how barakah would happen, how he split the moon, subhanallah, how within the cave, it's a miracle that the enemies couldn't see him, they didn't detect him. And many other miracles throughout the life of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He'd speak to animals. In sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, having this divine revelation on how to strategize within the expeditions. And many other miracles we find in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But the greatest of all is the Quran. Why? Why is the Quran the greatest miracle? And that's what we want to unpack throughout these sessions and feel the beauty within our lives. And it's something that I want us to experience, because many a times we hear about a miracle and we hear something stunning, amazing, and astonishing has happened, but perhaps that's the most we get. It's just hearing something. Very rarely it may be captured through a picture or a video nowadays. And even then it doesn't really give it justice, because then you think, hey, maybe that's perhaps fake news. or the video has been changed, photoshopped. But when you experience something, there is a different feel. It's real experience. But when you see something happen, and you're in that moment, you really appreciate that. So just imagine, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, he's going through the sea, and it splits open for him because of the permission of Allah. We read about this, but can we really feel, oh, this water, and Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and his people, they go through, and Fir'aun and his army are left behind. They don't have that same miracle. Yes, we read about it, we believe in it, and it's mentioned in the Quran. But we can't really feel that miracle happening because we weren't there. But with the Quran, and this is what makes it the greatest miracle, is because we can experience the amazement of the Quran. We can experience it within our life. When we read a verse, we unpack it, we understand it, we live it. Subhanallah. You know the effect that has. When we read the Quran, many different verses, they relate to us. Exactly your condition and my condition, the guidance that we need at that very moment, it is delivered through Quran. In great detail. It's a miracle from the sense that we're confused, we need guidance, and everything is found in the Quran. Everything. The Quran and Sunnah will find what you need in life. It's just how we unpack it, how we understand, and how we apply it in our life. That's where the difference is. And sometimes we make it too complicated for ourselves. But nonetheless, the Quran, and this is what we hope to achieve from these sessions, is that we read Quran, we speak about Quran, we listen to the Quran, we understand, and we live that miracle. And that's one of the things that when we approach the Quran, so that's the first thing, it's the greatest miracle throughout human history, the Quran. Because all of the miracles, they were also limited, except the Quran, for a limited period. But the Quran, for all of humanity, in fact, for those who believe, they will truly, they will appreciate it, but the Quran is open for one and all. And the other part that I want to mention for myself and you, my dear brothers and sisters, and dear listeners and viewers, the moment we open the Quran, we should remind ourselves that it's not an ordinary word. It's the word of our Creator. My Lord, your Lord, Allah Azza wa Jalla, the Master of the universes, of all of creation, Rabbul Alameen, Arhamur Rahimeen, Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, the one with all power and might. Allah Azza wa Jalla, these are direct words of Allah. Imagine. So when we open the Quran, when we begin to read the words of Allah, we shouldn't just recite and read, but read with that intention. Read with that thought. These are the words of the greatest, Allah. How much more respect should we have for those words? How carefully would we listen to those words? How reflective we are. Just imagine somebody really important within this world sends you a short text message, maybe just a few words. How will we read that again? With each word, we'll see how the sentence is. And what does he mean? What does she mean? And we read it, perhaps again and again. But this is the word of Allah, far greater than any human being. In fact, all of humanity put together can come nowhere close to even a verse of the Quran, let alone the surah and the entire Quran. So with this, inshallah, we approach the Quran with these thoughts. And when we have that thought, and even when we listen to it within our salah, within our prayers, what happens is that we have that connection. We have that sweetness that's felt. But on the other hand, maybe that we are just reciting, and many people will recite. And that's also, by the way, there's no harm in reciting. In fact, with every letter, it's rewarded. And that's something else in the Quran. That maybe your mind is not even there, you're not even thinking of the Quran. It's not the ideal, but even just recitation has its reward, for sure, better than not doing. However, the ideal is that we do tadabbur of the Quran, tafakkur. We ponder, we reflect, we think deeply, we have respect for every word, every letter, every command of Allah. And then the Sahaba, what was their practice? They would take a small portion of the Quran, repeat, reflect, memorize, until it became part of their life. And that's the intention that we should approach the Quran to. May Allah Azza wa Jalla grant us tawfiq to do so, where it's not just on the surface, but it penetrates our life, our hearts, becomes a part of us. And that's true people of the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jalla make us from amongst them. Ameen. So brothers and sisters, how many of you have been following the series through Zoom before and during Ramadan? You know, it's been about 5 weeks now since then. But we did start off a series. We started off with Surah Al-Kahf. Did anybody follow those sessions? That's easy there. Anyone? Because we spent a good few sessions. So we decided that we're going to be speaking about Surah Al-Kahf, and we got about to the middle part of it. And we got to the story where we left off. That is where I want to continue from next session, inshallah, which is the story of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and Peter. So, how many stories are found in Surah Al-Kahf? How many? 3?
I remember only 3.
Okay, 3. Anyone? So there's about, you can say 3 from an angle. You take out the examples, but the examples they also included and also. So let's just go through them very quickly, inshallah. And I'm going to, today's session, I just want you, so if there's anything, but we'll have a little recap with these stories, but then for next week, we'll continue from where we left off, inshallah. So this week is for a quick recap. So first of all, Surah Al-Kahf, we know this is one of the things, surahs within the Quran, something that's recommended for us to recite on Yawm al-Jumu'ah, and also reflect over its lessons. There are many pictures regarding the surah. But the surah starts off with a sermon from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's like introduction to the surah. And there are verses that mention the grandeur and the blessed nature of the Quran and how it's revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how profound the Quran is. And there's a few more things that I mentioned before the first story starts. And the first story is the story of Ashab al-Kahf. seven sleepers or the sleepers of the cave. The famous story with the young and the youth, they went against their king who claimed to be God, and they sought refuge in a cave for more than 3 centuries. So that's the famous story, that's the first one. Thereafter, we have another reminder to the Prophet ﷺ and to us by extension, and then that moves on to the next theme within the surah, and the next example and story, which is the story of the two friends, who are gardeners, or one of them has two gardens. And that's mentioned, and there's a similitude, there's a comparison between the two, and that is of those, one of the friends or brothers, he invests his wealth in this world, and the other brother for the akhirah. And that's the discussion. They have a beautiful discussion, and there are many lessons to be learned from that which we have been through. Thereafter, before the next story starts off, is that of the next example is actually following from the story, the two brothers and the two gardens, and that's of the example of this worldly life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that example, the example of this worldly life and what a short season it is, and how it's just like the season. And then the Day of Judgment has been spoken about. Then the next story, or the reference to the next story, which is our third story, is that of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam and Iblis. Okay, so there's reference to that. So that's the third one that's mentioned. Thereafter we have the famous story, which we're going to be starting next week, inshaAllah, is the story of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and Khidr. And that goes on for some period, because within that there are literally hundreds of lessons. And we'll spend some time on this, inshaAllah, because it's also about seeking knowledge. What do we know about this story, by the way? Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and Khidr. Just think about it for now. I'm going to come back to your answers. And the final story is that of Dhul-Qarnayn. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ, and his journey, his responses to people who met Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and then we have the conclusion of the surah. And the main purpose of the surah which we'll get to, which ties in with the beginning of the surah. Okay, we'll speak about some of these gems of the Quran, inshaAllah. Coming back to the question, what do we know about the story of Musa and Khidr? What is it about? We know the main story. What are some of the lessons that we learn from this story? So what I've told you, Talabul Ilm. Yeah, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is the prophet of that time, and not an ordinary prophet, one of the great prophets. And no prophet is ordinary to begin with. They are chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are the elite of all of humanity. But from amongst the galaxy of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, you have certain ranks, and Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned throughout the Quran, and yet he is seeking knowledge. Subhanallah. From a person that's unknown. So the journey of seeking knowledge is one of the lessons that we learn. One of the first lessons that we learn from this surah. The approach, how he asks now his teacher to be. How he asks it. Beautiful verses. And we'll speak about them, inshallah, in the coming weeks. So that's one of the things that we learn. Seeking knowledge. How to seek knowledge. Mannerisms. Respect, and all of these things we'll speak more about, inshallah, because I think it's something that we need to learn many times. When we hear these topics, we think good. I'm going to learn so that I need to teach my children how to be respectful. Which is a good thought. We should have concern for our children, more than our children, or anfusakum first. Train yourself, learn mannerisms, learn respect, how to seek knowledge, and that's what you and I both. That's as simple as the hadith, and that's what for all of us, like I mentioned. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, he took that journey. And this journey never ends for us, by the way, within this life. It's never the fact that I know, I don't need to learn, I don't need to seek. It's a continuous journey. And when you have that approach, you will also learn from any circumstance, from anyone. You will see the good. What else do we have? What other lessons do we learn from Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and Jacob? Anyone? Yes.
Sabr.
Sabr. That's one of the things that Khidr, you mentioned. Very good, mashallah. When Musa sees things happening, and how is that we'll speak once again? But when he sees things happening, he reacts. And he's told, not everything what you see is how it appears. Rather have some patience. And Peter also tells him, I don't think you've got patience. You won't be able to be patient. You don't have the patience. And this is why patience is one of the key qualities that is highlighted throughout the Quran. Patience. You guys were here for the first khutbah this week? Anyone was here for the first khutbah this week? Yeah, you guys remember we also spoke about patience, right? And how patience, how it works within our mind. Sorry? Yes. So we learned about this story, about how he was patient, but it all happens in your mind or in your heart within to be patient and how to be patient. And what does it mean to be patient? What's required of us to be from amongst the patient? The sabirin. But in essence, it is to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in full control of my life. When Allah is doing the best for me, even though I can't see that. So that's a key lesson. Very good, mashallah. Thank you very much for highlighting that, brother. So, patience, learning knowledge. Let's have two more answers. What else do we learn from this amazing surah, or this part of the surah, the story that's found within the surah? What else? Two more lessons. What was doing that? Anyone?
Caring for orphans.
Caring for orphans. Yes, mashallah. Very good. That is one that we also learn. And we see the fruit of that too. So caring for orphans. What else? Last lesson before we get into it, inshallah, next week. One of the greatest lessons that we learn is the hidden plan of Allah. Yeah, the plan of Allah. And this is found within one of the names of Allah, the thief. How Allah does things within a manner that is beyond our comprehension. Allah is alim al-ghayb wa shahada. Allah knows the seen, the unseen, what has happened in the greatest of details, and what is happening and what will happen in the future. We as humans, our knowledge or our capacity to have this knowledge is very limited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we trust in the plan of Allah. So that's one of the things we also learn from this amazing surah. And knowing that someone else could know more than you. So khair, inshallah, we'll hopefully begin with this part of the surah from the journey where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ لَا أَبْرَحُ حَتَّى أَبْلُغَ مَجْمَعَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ أَوْ أَمْضِيَ حُقُبًا. From next week, inshallah, we'll go through the verses, we'll go through the lessons. But do remember the points that were made for today, inshallah. And we have a quick summary of how we approach the Quran. A few points that were mentioned. Just for your recap, my recap, and to conclude the lesson for today, for today's halaqah. How do we approach the Quran? What were some of the thoughts that we need to have and remember? Yes, so we reflect on the Quran, remember the greatest blessing of Allah within our life, the greatest miracle, is the word of Allah. And why we are seated, why we are listening, why we are viewing, we want to be people who live by the Quran, try to understand, try to implement, and internalize the verses and the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within our lives. Are there any questions before we finish for today? Brothers and sisters? Sisters can't really communicate with us, but brothers, any questions? So I hope for next week, inshallah, we can also sit down with the Quran, inshallah. Yeah, next Saturday, so that we can follow. So until next week, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla make us think of the Quran. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay.
Hello, man. Yeah. هذا وقت يحب الكتاب ورسول الله